All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vicente Arazo. I'm manager of MercerOnline. Thank you for attending our session today. Our first session of the afternoon is Blackboard Troubleshooting Tips. Myself and my team, we're going to go over some things that you typically might encounter inside of Blackboard, or provide you with some tips that you can troubleshoot in case you encounter any issues on your end. So we're going to start off with Rob. Rob Obermeyer is one of our analysts, so he has a tip that he's going to share with you. Rob, go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share with you all, and I'm going to share a screen that I set up. And let me just get there. Okay. And what we're going to talk about today is a new feature in Blackboard that I'm excited about, because it really gives you the ability to look at test issues that your students have and see all the information that prior to this we in MercerOnline would have had to get for you. So you'll see I'm in a Blackboard course. This is just a dummy course that I use for working with people. And I'm going to go into tests in the grading center, and hopefully it takes us there. And you should all be seeing my test environment now. And you'll see we have two different people who have taken tests. And what this does is, so this allows you to, to see different things that a student might have done. Here, you'll see a test that isn't completed. And the student calls up, or they send us an email and they say, Luke says, I took the test and it's not completed. So I can go here now to the menu arrow, and I like to go into view grade details because it gives me the ability to see everything going on. And I can see he has an attempt in progress in the details. And now I'm going to go view the attempt. And this has pretty much always been there. So I can go down and I can see which questions have been answered. And I can come here and I can see that question 4 wasn't answered. And now if I go up here to test information, and let me know if things start to go awry here. I just got a message that my internet isn't too good. When you call, you'll also receive no extra roadside assistance. But if I click test information, you'll see a whole group of information come up for me about the test, about this attempt. You can see I started it today at 7:59 and I submitted it at 7:59, so less than a minute. But I can view the access log here. And the access log lets me see every question that was answered, the amount of time it took to answer it, and the time spent in each question. So I can see that I actually touched question 4 a number of times, but I can see what went on and I can make a decision and I can say, okay, Luke needs to go in and answer question 4, so I can make a decision about what to do next, okay? And I could submit the attempt and just let him submit an answer to that last question if I wanted to. I could clear this attempt away and then just tell him to go back in and complete the test. And that's one thing I could do. So if a student comes in and their attempt is underway, you can go in, look at all this information. A few times in the last semester, I went in this situation and the student had answered all the questions. Excuse me. So I just submitted the attempt and it graded it for the professor, and it was that easy to take care of. If we go back to the Grade Center, and now let's look at Reed Richards and look at his score. He sent us an email, said he got knocked out of the test. And again, I went into view details. I can see as an 18. Here under grade history, I don't know if you all know this is, but I can see the attempts that they did. I can go back and I can view attempts now. And now again, I can see all the questions that were answered, and seems like Reed did a lot of answering. And I can go down through. And as I get to the bottom here, none given. None given, none given. So I can see here, last few questions, he got knocked out. So let me confirm that. And if I go back up here to the access log, once again, I can go in here and I can see, I can scroll down and I can see, okay, the last questions, the answer was blank. Normally, if they get knocked out, in this one, I actually had to submit it, but normally if they get knocked out, you won't even see this. You'll just see that answers weren't given. And I can go, oh, okay. And you'll see if a person answered a question multiple times, you'll see that. And you can make a determination again, was this person having a problem? If they were, I can go back up. And again, I can clear this attempt and give them another attempt at this item so they can go through and do it again. Okay. If I go back to grade details, you can see I can also ignore this attempt here. And by ignoring this attempt, it'll keep this information here, but now I can go back up and go into the test and into edit options and provide this person another attempt. Okay. So again, what really excites me about this is that that log gives you all the information that we could get by running a report into the background. Now you have it at your fingertips. And if a student says they had a problem, they got knocked out, their test didn't save or didn't submit, you can go in, look at it, make a determination, and say, okay, I'm going to give you another attempt, or just go back in if the test is still running and take it again. Any questions about that? I'm not seeing the questions.
There's a question there that says, can you set the test so that they take only the question they missed? Unfortunately, no, that would be too, that would be too easy for Blackboard to do. Um, One option that you can do is to not use the option forced completion, and that'll allow the student to go back and access the assessment again and just complete the question um, uh, that they missed. Um, but that is a good idea that I can present to Blackboard itself the next time they ask for feedback, to see if that's a feature that they can introduce in their assessment too. I mean, it's been asked before by many Blackboard clients, but the more they get that suggestion, it'll eventually it's something that they'll have to implement. It's a good question though.
And again, I think we all on the Mercer Online team encourage you to think very carefully before you use force completion. We would rather see you set a time limit and have it submit after a period of time, or if you can, just set a time limit and let your students take it. If you're not, whether you're using an honor lock exam or not. But
Professor
any other
Falco
questions?
Yeah, Professor Falco has a question here, and don't hesitate to unmute yourself if you have questions. Um, Professor Falco is asking, is there a downside to forced completion? And yeah, one of the downside is like Professor Hilker said, was if you use forced completion, if a student missed a question, they won't be able to go back and access that assessment. You would have to either give them a new attempt, um, or not use forced completion. Another downside of using forced completion is that it it doesn't work with the auto submit option. So if you set forced completion and auto submit, for whatever reason, it has a flaw. It's not compatible with each other. So students might encounter issues when they're trying to complete the assessment.
So Vicente, this is
Yeah.
Linda. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I'm asking if you don't use forced completion, is there any downside to that? It sounds like it's only
The downside to that is, students would be able to click on lessons and review notes. So, if you're concerned about that, um, maybe possibly just thinking about using the proctoring tool on lock, or just having a time limit set, like Rob recommended. So you don't have to worry about that one.
So remind me again, just one more quick question.
Mhm.
If we're using honor lock, you recommend not using forced completion?
Yeah, I mean, if you're using
That's right.
honor lock, there's you just make sure that you state in your guidelines for students that they do not move away from the assessment, that they don't click on lessons or try to review any notes.
Right.
You'll be able to monitor that in your recordings if you need to. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's some issues with forced completion and using it with honor lock.
Okay, thank you.
So thanks, Rob. Nina.
Honor lock and
Next.
force completion really do the same things. They really do the same things. So
Yeah.
you're kind of doubling up if you use both.
Yeah, good point.
So I think I'm turning things over for a discussion of edit mode to Nina, according to what I understand.
Yep, Nina, you can go over student preview and edit mode.
All righty. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen here real quick. Give me 1 second. And here we are. I'm in Blackboard. I'm going to give you a really quick tip first regarding about when students reach out to you and say, oh, I can't find something such as a document that you've actually put into the course or something of that nature, and they're saying that it's there. You know it's there, and they're saying they can't say it. Well, one way that you can do it is you can check on your what's called, you can look into their view. So let me just log into a course here and I can show you that real quick. There is a student preview that you can check into to see exactly what the students are looking at. The student preview is really helpful for you to kind of do a little troubleshooting on that end to make sure, oh, well, maybe that document isn't available to the students. For example, if you wanted to check the student preview for this uh, page, you would just
Did we lose you, Nina?
I think we did.
Okay, looks like we lost Nina there. So let me just share my screen and I'll go over basically what she was trying to go over here. All right. So here I am in my demo course, and what she was reviewing was the student preview. You as instructors have basically editing rights in your course. So anything you add in your course, you will automatically see. So for example, here in lessons, I have some folders. The ones that are bold are folders that are visible to students, and the ones that are lightly grayed out are folders that are hidden. I can still see them, but your students can't see them. So let's say you thought you set up a folder to be visible to students, but they're emailing you saying that they can't see it. So one option you can use is to use the student preview option, which is what Nina was explaining. I like to call it the little hurricane icon. But if you click on it, you'll see a orange banner, and now you're in what's called a dummy student preview account. Um, and now you can see exactly what it is that students are seeing. You can use the student preview to make sure that all your announcements that you want your students to see are available. You can also go to lessons and check to make sure that the folders that you meant for your students to be visible are actually visible to them. So the students were telling me that module 4 is not visible to them. So I can clearly see that that module 4 folder is not available. So now that I've confirmed this, you can just click on exit preview, and you can set the delete the preview data if you need to, or you can just you can keep the preview user data. If you select keep, what that does is that it'll create that dummy account in your grade center. So let's say you were testing out an assessment, it'll save the data for that assessment that you submitted using the student preview. But if not, you can just leave the setting to delete the preview user data, select continue, and now it'll take you back to your to your account that you can edit with. Now you just go back to lessons and you make the changes as you need to. Okay. The other thing that Nina was going to discuss was the edit mode option. Edit mode is another option that you can use to see if something is kind of like a student preview, but not really. So if you click on edit mode, it will kind of also show you what students will be able to see, and if it's not available to them. But one thing about uh, if you turn off edit mode, it just means that you can't edit anything and you can't add anything to it. It's kind of like a safe button in case um, so you're not so you don't accidentally delete anything. But if for whatever reason you're accessing your course and you're trying to upload something or trying to edit something and you can't, just always check to make sure edit mode is on. If it's not, it'll say off. And all you have to do is just click on that little icon there and it'll turn edit mode back on. And now you can edit anything and add content to it. All right. So, any questions about that?
I have a question,
Sure.
but I'm sorry, I need to backtrack a little bit. On
Mhm.
that, when using force completion, I
Sure.
mean, when not using force completion, um, and using honor lock at the same time,
Okay.
if the students stop the honor lock screen sharing, um, when you don't use that force completion, they can stop the honor lock sharing, go look at whatever they want to, and then come back in within that time limit. So in other words, they can cheat like that. So what's the remedy? Tell them that they cannot click out of the honor lock screen sharing.
Yeah. Just if you're using honor lock, just you want to make sure that you're clear on your honor lock guidelines, and just make sure that you state in your guidelines that students are not to stop sharing their screen, because the assessment is being recorded and proctored. So just make sure that you're clear on that. The reasons why you don't want to use force completion and honor lock is because force completion is a Blackboard setting that's not, for whatever reason, it's not, it doesn't work, or it causes compatibility issues with honor lock. Honor lock is working on making sure that it works with their tool. I'm not sure where they're at with that at the moment. I can find out for you. Um, but again, just be clear on on your proctoring guidelines to your students so they are aware of what they can't do and what they can do, especially if they select the stop sharing in HonorLock. And that'll be
Can
recorded in HonorLock so you can review and see if they actually stopped sharing, and you can take actions if needed.
students ever
And
accidentally
there are,
stop the honor lock sharing? Can it ever be an accidental that they do that?
Yeah,
They
it could be accidental because the stop sharing option is on their screen, and if they can accidentally click on it, if if they're scrolling their mouse, but the stop sharing button is clearly displayed on the top of their screen, so you would actually be able to see that in the recording as well.
Okay, thank you.
and there are selections in HonorLock that where you can set it, which doesn't allow them to click outside the exam. So they can't go to anything else but the exam when they're working. But yeah, you can click that button to stop sharing. But they would have to do it themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Professor Hilker, I believe that's something that Rob may be going over during his session on the assessments. She's asking if we can go over submission of a test and how to um, that they don't see comments or tips. Yeah, so I'm sorry. No, she says that students see only the incorrect questions. Yeah, so that's something that Rob will go over his.
I can
his
show that in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Professor Rabideau, the MercerOnline sessions, that's for students, and that's on our MercerOnline page. So next, Rob, you want to go over the menu panel? Let me
Right.
stop sharing here.
Let me go to sharing again. My screen. Okay. So on the menu panel, we just very quickly wanted to make sure everybody knew some of the features of the menu panel and realize, for example, that you can move things. You can, if you go to the left side of any item, you'll see a little up down arrow occur, and you can grab that, click on it and hold it, and you can move it anywhere. So you can adjust the panel right now. The other thing is you can add sections to this. And the way you do that is by going up here to the little circle with the dot in it, and you can add a content area. A content area would be, an example of that would be the lessons area, or the syllabus area are really content areas. And when you do that, when you click content area, you give it a name, you make it available to users, and then it creates a blank area that you can add material to. You can create a tool link, and you can come here and you can select any of the tools. So if you didn't have one and you wanted a section on your left side for Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, you could click and have one. You could put a glossary in there if you wanted to, or add your journals. You know, and a web link, if you have a website you want people to regularly go to, you create a web link and have that. The subheader is just creating a heading for any of these, and you can create a divider. These are dividers if you want additional dividers. Any questions on that at all?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Sure.
And this usually happens at the beginning of a semester when I'm trying to set up Blackboard the way that I want the students to see it. Is there any way that I could move several menu items at once? Because now I have to do it one by one, and I'm going to say half the time as I'm dragging one of those menu items down, something happens and the connection doesn't stay, so I lose the item going down and it ends up someplace else, which is annoying. Or I know up at the top of that menu panel, there's the up and down arrows, and I click on that and I can see the items, and I can select one and then move it down. But is there any way that that panel can be larger? Because it only shows, what is it, 5 items at once. I've got far more than that. And it seems that arranging it takes so much time.
Unfortunately, in this version, no. Unfortunately, no. It is one at a time. You may run into a thing, and we have this happen to us every once in a while, where we'll grab something, start to pull it up, and it won't go. It'll start to move, but it won't stay. Or as you said, it gets dropped, and it's dropped in a bad place. And then we go up here and we move it up and down using the keyboard accessible rendering. It's you can imagine with all the course copies we do, and we try our best when we copy a course for you to set the new course exactly or as close as we can to the way you have your course. You can imagine how much we do this, and we would love to be able to take several items and move them up at once and several items and move them down at once. But unfortunately, you can't do that. It isn't something that's there right now.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we would love that too. We would absolutely love that. But it's one at a time. Other questions?
All right, thanks, Rob. So now I'm just going to go over a couple, one troubleshooting tip here. We've been getting emails from students and some faculty, especially
Vicente, did you stop talking?
He's muted.
muted. Sorry. So let me go back to my previous screen here. So we've been getting emails from some users, from students and some instructors about this nice little error message that they get sometimes when they're accessing their course. This access denied error, or this one right here. Let me try to expand it a little bit more. This guests are not allowed error, right? The reason why you're getting this error is because the user either didn't log out of Blackboard and their portal and their account timed out. So to resolve this, all you have to do is just close the tab and close the portal tab and just log back into your portal, your faculty portal. On the students, they would log in back to their student portal and then access their course again by clicking on the link, and then it'll take them directly back into their course. The other option is to just clear out your browser history and then access the course again, and then you won't see that error message again. So best thing to always do is just make sure you log out of Blackboard. Don't just X out of the tab, or don't just close it. Just log out completely from Blackboard and log out of your faculty portal, so you don't encounter this issue again. All right. The other tip I'm going to review really quick. Let me close this here. Is Safeassign. So we got an email from a few faculty that were asking, is there a way to use Safeassign without having to create a Dropbox assignment? And yes, you can use Safeassign without having to create a Dropbox assignment. So if you're teaching a remote learning course and you just want to use Safeassign, Safeassign is a plagiarism tool that checks the document to make sure that students aren't just copy and pasting their answer. So for you to use Safeassign without creating a Dropbox assignment, all you do is click on Course Tools. You're going to scroll down and you're going to look for the link called Safeassign. You're going to click on it, and then you're going to select the option called Direct Submit. And here you're going to upload a document from this Safeassign page. So if you have a document that you want to upload, you can upload it, and then it'll give you a report for that specific document. So this is an option that you can use without creating a Dropbox assignment in your course. Okay. So are there any questions or anything else that you want us to review?
Hi. Hi, I had a question.
Sure.
Hi, how you doing? This is Diane Romulus.
Yep.
And I had a question. Students, I would leave comments for them when grading an essay, for example, on tips and things they can do differently, whatever.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
always say they never see the comments. And I'm not sure how do I go into the grade center to see from the student's point of view that,
Um, The only way you can, the only way that you can do that is by going to the full grade center and reviewing what you submitted to see if you actually left comments for the students. If you see it in your grade book,
Mhm.
then the comments are there. Typically what it is that students aren't aware to actually go or how to access those comments.
Right,
So
that's what I mean.
on the students end, what they have to do is, let me go into student preview. The
Mhm.
students are going to click on my grades,
Right.
and they're going to click on the actual assignment.
Okay.
So let's say it was paper 2, so they would click on that assignment there, and it'll
Mhm.
take them to that to their submission where they would see those specific comments. Let me see if I
Okay.
can
Thank you.
let me see if I can go um, into a student account and show you really quick. Just give me 1 second here.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions you might have while I go review or find a student account that I can demonstrate this
That was
for?
my main question, and I think Carol might have had a similar question.
Yeah,
Thank
Vicente, you might have already answered it. So there's no way for us to see the grade center from the student's point of view? Because I would love to see that. I have no idea what students can see, and I
Mhm.
don't know what to tell them about how to work the grade center.
Yeah, one option that you have is that you can send us Mercer Online an email, and we can add a dummy student account that you can have access to, so you can see basically on your end on your end uh, the students
Oh, great.
my grades and stuff like that. One of your colleagues actually uses that option for her accounting course, where we add um, it's a ridiculous name that we gave the student, Barney Rebel. Um, we add that student account to and give them access to it so they can check and see. So if that's an option that you would like, just send us Mercer Online an email, and we can give you access to that account, and you can use that to see exactly you can test out the my grades.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much,
Uh,
Vicente.
Vicente, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, few semesters ago, I used to do orientation.
Hmm.
And when I do orientation, I click on the link and it takes me to the real course section.
Hmm.
If you can allow me, I'll show you. So this semester, I don't know if there are some update on the Blackboard itself, or the Zoom itself, or
Hmm.
Blackboard. So when I click on the link, it takes me, it denies the access. So I don't know, if you give me access, I will show you what I'm trying to say. But
that usually just means that the link that you added is a bad link, and you just need to update the link that's in that
I
specific
updated
course.
the whole links. I updated the link just like I used to do.
Mhm.
I went and updated the links of
Mhm.
different sections. So it's not only doing it to one section,
Mhm.
it's doing it to all the sections. It doesn't allow me to bounce back from the PowerPoint to the course itself.
Um, Send us an email, because we might have to meet with you online so we can troubleshoot that. I'm not exactly sure if it's just an issue with the link itself, or it might just be a different type of issue, right? But just let me go back to answering that question about how students review their comments that students leave on their end. So this is a student account. Students, what they need to do is they click on my grades, and then they find that specific assignment. And if the instructor leaves any comments or feedback, they'll see a little comment bubble where they can click on and see the comment or feedback. Or if they click on the actual name of the assignment, it'll take them to this preview page where they will be able to go back and review any comments that the instructor left, or um, if the instructor left like little comment bubbles here. If you see the document, the students, they have to collapse this menu panel, and then they'll be able to see the comments that the instructor sets when they click on the comment bubble on the area that the instructor set. So they'll be able to review it here. They can expand the document if they need to, or make it smaller so they can see the full comments. And this is something that we have a video for students to review as well. So if they have any questions, just send them to us, and we can send them that documentation for how they can review any feedbacks on any feedbacks on any assignments that instructors set. All right.